We now start in the United States, where Joe Biden is waking up to his first full day as president. Yesterday, Biden was sworn in as the country's 46th president. The inauguration was unlike any other, owing to coronavirus restrictions, with few present to witness the oaths and ceremonies. Arise News Special Correspondent John Cookson looks back at yesterday's historic moments.
It's been a long march. Even as a child, he told his parents he'd be president one day, a dream fulfilled at last. Biden's inauguration came at a time of national tumult and uncertainty.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
The hallowed American democratic right unfurled at the U.S. Capitol, battered by a deadly riot 2 weeks before.
And will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
On a day of historic moments, America hailed its first black female of South Asian descent elected to the vice presidency.
I, Kamala Devi Harris, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support and defend the Constitution.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And then Biden pivoted to the challenges ahead, acknowledging the surging virus that has claimed more than 400,000 lives in the US, and America's deep political chasm at the end of the Trump era. Unity was the byword.
Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause. Uniting to fight the foes we face: anger, resentment and hatred, extremism, lawlessness, violence, disease, joblessness, and hopelessness. With unity, we can do great things, important things.
Biden used his speech to offer hope and to argue at times forcefully that the nation must be united in facing the challenges ahead, that it has to move past its current uncivil war. Without unity, there's no peace, he said. There was also flamboyance, fashion and passion from Lady Gaga and Jennifer Lopez. Arlington is the resting place of fallen American warriors since the time of the Civil War. One of Biden's first duties as president was to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, accompanied by his new vice president. And the band played Hail to the Chief. One can only imagine the thoughts of the man who'd sought the keys to the White House for so long. And then down to politics. Biden signed off on a slew of executive orders. They, with 2 bills he sent to Congress, coronavirus relief and an overhaul of immigration, highlighted the new president's immediate priorities, as well as sending a message his administration plans to re-engage on the global stage. American democracy has been stretched to its very limits in recent months. and the new administration will face further challenges ahead. Nevertheless, the inauguration of Joe Biden not only represents a day in history, but a day of hope. John Cookson, Arise News, Washington.
That was John Cookson with that incisive report. But for further breakdown and analysis of the Biden-Harris inauguration, we're now being joined by Laurie Laird, Arise Special Correspondent on U.S. politics and affairs. Hello, Laurie. Good morning. Good to have you this morning again on the morning show. Good morning. Well, we all look forward to yesterday.
Nice to see you all.
Yes, we all look forward to yesterday, and it happened. Trump's departure with a whimper, and then the pomp of the presidential inauguration. Many iconic moments in that, ceremony. But what were the key moments for you in the whole of that ceremony, from the church service to the president and his wife walking all the way down to the White House and entering through the North Portico?
Well, let's start with your saying it happened, because that's an important thing to say. It happened despite so many potential clouds over the day. And one of those clouds was the risk of some kind of social unrest. We are only 2 weeks beyond the storming of the Capitol. And remember the fears that many people had that there could be another attempt to derail this inauguration with supporters of Donald Trump. The Capitol was very heavily fortified yesterday. 25,000 National Guard troops, in addition to various police forces. National Guard troops were drafted in from neighboring states because of the fear of further unrest. So the fact that it passed without incident, and furthermore, that there were no real unrest, no real protests or incidents in state capitals. Remember, about a week ago, there was all sorts of internet chatter about attacks on state capitals. None of that came to pass. And I think the fact that this came off peacefully, at least on the day of the inauguration, is something that I think many, many people are grateful for. So that is one thing. It happened without incident. And I think that is very significant. That has to go with some degree of comment. As in terms of the images, there were so many images in the inauguration. And I think the striking thing was Joe Biden's message of unity. And he has been preaching that message really since he won the election. But again, that was the theme of yesterday, unity, healing. But we were able to see in many areas that some of the more partisan members of Congress followed that example. Roy Blunt, who is the Missouri senator, very, very supportive of Donald Trump, or at least he was supportive of Donald Trump prior to the 6th of January. He was the Republican ahead of the inauguration committee, along with Democrat Amy Klobuchar. He referred to Amy Klobuchar as his friend. So the enmity that we have been seeing between Republicans and Democrats up until now seemed to dissolve a little bit. Perhaps following the example of Joe Biden, who very much wants to get away from partisan politics.
Laurie, we heard President Joe Biden say yesterday, of course, that the major discourse right now is the key message of unity. And of course, he did mention that he will be president and leader for all, in spite of factions and your area of support for his presidency. Now, let's talk about the realities of that statement. How easy or cumbersome is that going to be for him? And of course, how is that being responded to across the board?
Well, I mean, that is absolutely the next question, because in some ways, I think we can regard yesterday as a day of two halves. All of those messages of unity, and some of the most partisan members of Congress going along with that message. But you're right to ask, at least in my mind, how long can that last? And already we're seeing a little bit of squabbling between Chuck Schumer, who is now the Senate Majority Leader, and Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader. previously the majority leader and previously a very strong ally of Donald Trump, at least until a couple of days ago, already they are squabbling about the allocation of party positions on key Senate committees. Now, this sounds a little bit arcane, but it is important because the majority, one party takes a majority on each committee. Typically, that is the majority party in the Senate. But of course, if you take Kamala Harris out of the equation, it's 50-50 in the Senate. So the allocations of seats and leadership of committees still needs to be sorted out. And we understand that Schumer and McConnell are squabbling over that. So the hope is for the business of the Senate that can be resolved soon. But certainly the confirmation of many of Biden's picks to be in the cabinet could be delayed until Schumer and McConnell sort this out. So it's not clear how far this bipartisan cooperation will last.
Right, let's talk about the symbolism of yesterday. A first Latino judge swearing in a first, Asian American or African American vice president of America, female, both women, and other symbolisms, Biden with the over 100-year-old Bible and getting into America at a time that the country is divided. What are the symbolisms around this?
You're absolutely right. It was a day so rife with symbolism. The first African-American vice president, the African-American female vice president, also of Asian descent, the first Latina Supreme Court justice signing her in, administering her oath of office. Joe Biden's cabinet is the most diverse we have ever seen, and that is symbolic for everybody in America. But the thing that is striking is that these minorities are, while they make up a diverse cabinet, they're all incredibly capable, well-qualified people for the job, and it's such